Jones, we scream over another helicopter. This one arriving. Is that a different helicopter?
It is.
Okay.
There's quite a lot of traffic out here, you guys.
There really is.
This one caused a bit of a ruckus.
This one was loud.
Yeah, we've knocked over a bag of. I think a bag of footballs got knocked over as part of this helicopter's
It's like
path.
Apocalypse Now out here.
A little bit. Mego, you ever been in a helicopter?
No, I haven't. That's something that actually makes me a little queasy to think about.
Agreed.
I'm not a very scared flyer, but helicopter is another level.
Different animal.
It's another level.
I also have a weird fear of getting my head cut off by the propeller.
I don't think that's weird. I think that's what most people think of when they see a propeller.
Because you do see, like, in movies when people approach helicopters, even if the people are, like, 5 feet tall, they, like, duck down like they're going to actually get, like,
See, I
decapitated.
always assumed that was because of the wind force that was coming off of the chopper,
maybe.
that they're kind of leaning down against the wind.
And not just fear of getting their head lopped off. You might be right. All right, you were down there on the field watching day 2 of Pat's Eagles joint practice. What jumped out to you today, Mego?
Well, I'll start with the positive. I think that this was maybe the best day of training camp that we've seen from Romeo Doubs. I thought that he was far and away the standout player on offense. He had a beautiful touchdown to finish the day. I think it was against Reek Woolen. But I'll have to double check.
Yeah, probably.
Reek Woolen is everywhere because Reek Woolen also picked off.
As I say, he giveth and he taketh away.
Yeah, Drake Maye. His one real giveaway targeting A.J. Brown earlier in training camp. I'm impressed because I thought that Romeo Doubs started off camp in a pretty quiet way. And you go, all right, this guy had 700 receiving yards last year. Came from a spread it around offense with Green Bay. Who is he going to be here? He's been excellent over the last week, and particularly just in these joint practices. Yesterday he had one pass that skipped off his fingertips and was kind of a dangerous mistake. That'll happen. But I thought he was great today.
Could he be a 1,000-yard guy, too? Because A.J. Brown's time in Philly, he and Devontae Smith, I think 3 out of the 4 years, both had 1,000 yards. So it's not, like, unprecedented. His career high was last year, like 720-something. Could you think he could be up to that number?
I feel that would be a lot.
Too much. Okay.
To share around. Right. I mean, how many yards at that? If you're giving him 1,000 yards, and we all assume that A.J. Brown is going to go over 1,000, maybe upwards towards 1,200 plus. If you talk to Shime, he probably thinks like 1,500 at this point from watching camp highlights.
Number keeps growing every day.
How much are you having Maye throw the ball game to game?
Well, I mean, Maye can throw for 4,000 yards, and it's still not like a wild number, right? I mean, 17-game season, those two guys get half the yards, and then you spread out the other 2,000 everywhere else.
And the rest of the room is miserable.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that's another part of it where, it's funny. Every day it seems like either Kyle Williams has a nice play or Kayshon Boutte or Matt Collins. Like, everybody's performing, but they just all can't be on the field at the same time.
Yeah, one ball. They all got to share it. I will say the other takeaway that I had from today was, well, 2. 1, Caleb Lomu got a little bit more work because Morgan Moses took some of the day off, as he tends to do with his age. I thought the offense struggled significantly more when Lomu was in there. He had a tough time on that right side. You saw the right side of the pocket break down a couple times with Lomu out there. And then I would also say that I think as we continue to see this Christian Gonzalez situation, it really brings into light, now that you're watching the Eagles-Patriots joint practice, how thin they are defensively. I mean, you're looking at guys who are stepping into these roles, and it feels like the Eagles are down a couple players, too, in these joint practices. But for us, watching the team throughout this entire training camp, you just go, man, are they going to make some kind of move, maybe with Kayshon Boutte, to bring in some reinforcements? Because even just not improving on the talent that you have on the defense, but just trying to bring in some depth there.
Is it fair to say today was the biggest and most obvious day in terms of the absence of Gonzalez? Like, this is the biggest that hole looked on the defense so far.
I don't think it's any one particular just Gonzalez. I mean, you had Marcus Jones, who in team competitive drills had 2 interceptions. He picked off Jalen Hurts twice. So it's not like there aren't playmakers that are out there. I continue to say, compared to how I felt earlier in training camp, that Kevin Byard has looked good. And I more think it's just like, okay, we've been talking about the edge continuously and the questions that you have there. I still think you have questions with linebackers. We have no idea what's going on with Harold Landry whatsoever. And then with cornerbacks, you're looking at when Christian Gonzalez is down, hopefully you have Davis out there, but Davis is somebody who missed at least 2 weeks of camp as well. So I think that at all levels of the defense, you have to be looking at your roster and saying, we've really got a surplus of talent on the other side of the ball in some spots. We love those guys, and they've all been making plays during camp, but we really need to address this other side.
It's still a day where Kayshon Boutte is on the team. Is it just going to get to the point where all of a sudden week 1 rolls around and he's here, or do you still is a trade still in the mix?
I think Mike Vrabel has left the door certainly for that to be possible. And one thing that I noticed yesterday that I did think was interesting was you saw a little bit of A.J. Brown with Kayshon Boutte on the field at the same time. I don't know if you guys picked up on that when they were running A.J. Brown in the slot. And I thought, well, maybe they're trying to find different configurations among all these receivers so that Kayshon has a role. I just don't think if you're Kayshon and you're going into a contract year that you're going to like the role of being the 4th or 5th guy getting targets, let alone 7 receivers on the roster. And again, going back to some of the holes in your depth, I don't think that is the smartest way to configure the roster.
Well, I like Kayshon Boutte, but
I do too.
I wonder where could he go right now with such little camp, right? Like show up right before the season and be like the number 2 option on a team. Like I think that's tough, even if he might be better like in a vacuum, but like does that team have a quarterback like Drake Maye? Do they have an offensive coordinator like McDaniels? Do they have a team like the Patriots? Like, I think it's easier said than done, like, for him to think, hey, I'm going to get a lot more opportunities somewhere else. Because we were talking about, like, the Eagles, for example. The Eagles don't have amazing wide receivers, but if you throw him into camp super late, and then, like, Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon come back, it's like, all right, you're pushed down that depth chart
He's
too.
still in a better place, I would guess, with that situation than here, though, because you're talking about the difference between being the 3rd wideout and the 4th. And you know, when you're getting guys on the field,
as somebody
and you're
who
trying
is a 5th wide receiver, I absolutely know what that's
so
like.
you know, there's a big difference between how much you're getting on the field and what you can do for your stats, and what that means for the contract that he's trying to earn. Now you can say, okay, well, what about the winning and getting back to the Super Bowl? But that's life-changing money for Kayshon Boutte compared to where he is now.
On the Drake Maye conversation is, again, it's impossible to think of what an improvement this year could look like. How do you think he's looked during camp specific to red zone performance and getting the ball out quickly?
Like I said before, I don't think it's all on him in terms of some of the timing being a little janky in the red zone that we saw today. You see different things break down and you go, it's not just a bad play by Drake Maye. But that seems to be the area that he is most focused on improving. Yeah. If you listen to the sound that he just gave talking to us in the media, what I'm really curious about, guys, is how much are we going to see him in the preseason? Like, are we going to see any of these guys more than
he hasn't
a
said,
couple
right?
drives?
Because I feel like Vrabel said pretty early on that, like, you won't see him against the Colts. He hasn't confirmed anything right
No,
before
we
Saturday.
haven't. We didn't talk to him today. I asked Drake if he has any say in preseason and does he want to be out there? Like, what does he get from it? And he's like, yeah, the game clock and the atmosphere. And I'm like, all right. So
and then he gave you like, oh, I'm here, and if they put me out there, I'll play kind of thing. I'm like, that's not what we wanted.
Selfishly, for someone who goes to the preseason games for work, I'm like, God,
I know.
can we get some of these starters out here? Of course, you have to balance the health of it. But last week's preseason game against the Indianapolis Colts was the the most seasoned. Most preseason game.
That was tough, and it was a tie at the end. You're like, what the hell? Like, we stick around at the end, and it's a tie. You mentioned Lomu. What about the other rookies, Gabe Akis and Eli Raridan? Anything jump out good or bad about those guys?
Yeah, I was watching Gabe Akis quite a bit yesterday, at least because they brought the big boys from Philly down close to where us in the media were. And I was like, okay, this is the premier offensive line for the most part in the league. So let's see how this pass rush that we're very concerned about is going to do against them. I thought Akis did a pretty good job holding his own in 1v1s. Now, sometimes he was going up against reserves in that, so it's not necessarily going up against the cream of the crop, but you go against who you line up against. And I thought he looked really good in that. I was watching him a little bit. He's still running with the twos in the team portions. Not a whole lot jumped out at me from him in that, but I would say that yesterday, it's like you're taking these little steps with him. I don't know if he's going to be somebody who makes a big impact right away, and I think Vrabel is just all over his case every day.
It doesn't seem like there's any real kind of fun answers to this, but
Okay.
any roster battles that you're watching, any spots on the depth chart that you're kind of watching to see how they might round out?
Well, the obvious one is everybody's watching wide receiver.
Right.
I would say the other one that is going to be interesting once we get into the season, because you won't see it in the preseason as much, is running back.
Yeah.
You saw Ramondre Stevenson have a fumble today, brought back some
Oh, no.
bad feelings,
Oh, no.
some bad feelings about
Started
ball
early.
security
Great.
from Ramondre Stevenson. But you also had him break away with a beautiful inside run. And you're like, okay, this is the Ramondre Stevenson experience. With Travion Henderson, he, especially towards the second half of the regular season, was explosive and put up these huge stats. But, who's he going to be in terms of now being a sophomore and pass protection? That was the big question with him. And that's just the kind of stuff that we can't really see a ton of in training camp, but it still looks like they're lending that hand a little bit more towards Ramondre Stevenson. Those guys will probably share a bulk together, though.
All right, Mego, thanks for coming up here and joining us. You're in tomorrow.
Sure.
For
I
Jones,
am.
Correct? Full 4-hour program. Back
Really
in
weird
studio.
show.
Yeah, it's going to be weird.
Can
Friday's
we get
weird.
really weird?
Oh, yeah. Come up with some weird ideas, and we will
Okay.
use all of those ideas.
Oh, good. I got to go because my ride is leaving.
Oh,
I don't
hear
know
it.
if you can hear
Yep.
that over the broadcast.
You better hustle.
But,
Yep.
they
All
got to
right.
throw me a rope as they fly that helicopter right
Oh, that's
over here.
cool. The old ladder?
Yeah.
No rope ladder? on the way
No,
up?
just a rope.
Oh, wow. That's
and I'll
impressive.
just shimmy up that.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, and then I'll stick my leg out and I'll wave to everyone.
That's
I'd watch
pretty
that
cool.
Mission Impossible. I'd watch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's not bad.